Have you ever felt it? That spark, that sudden luminous flash in the architecture of your mind? An idea, arriving unannounced, like a visitor from another world. It might be a whisper of a melody, a solution to a problem that's plagued you for weeks, or a vivid cinematic image of a future you've never dared to imagine. Where do these ideas come from? For centuries, we've called it the muse, genius, inspiration. We've built monuments to the ideas that have shaped our world. The idea of democracy, the idea of flight, the idea of network connectivity, every human mind. But what if we could understand the energy behind the idea itself? What if we had a language to describe the unique way this spark flows through each of us? Today, I want to share with you a piece of remarkable language called human design. Think of it not as a rigid system of labels, but as a map, a detailed, nuanced map of your own energetic landscape. It describes the consistent currents and rhythms that you make, and the rhythms that make you. And on this map, there are 64 landmarks, or what we call gates, each representing a fundamental theme of the human experience. We're going to journey to just one of these landmarks today, a place I believe holds a key to rekindling your collective hope. It is the source of our grandest visions and our most intimate dreams. It's called Gate 11, the gate of ideas, the gate of the conceptualist, the gate whose ancient I Ching, Chinese I Ching name means peace. Now, to truly appreciate Gate 11, we have to understand where it lives. It resides in what the human design calls the Ajna Center, or our mental processing workshop. This isn't just a chaotic brain. It's a sophisticated facility with different stations, each with a unique job. Imagine a grand cosmic library of all human experience. In one corner, you have Gate 47, the sense maker. It sifts through the confusing data of the past, looking for that aha moment of realization. Next to it is Gate 24, the silent thinker, patiently churning and contemplating until a new awareness can emerge. Over here, you have the logical assembly line. Gate 4 is the problem solving. Always looking for a logical answer, a formula that works. Its partner is Gate 17. Takes those formulas and builds them into structured opinions and a framework ready to be shared with the collective. And then there's the lone inventor's corner, Gate 43, the home of the individual breakthrough. This is the classic bolt from the blue. An insight that is unique, personal, and often at first sounds a little strange to everyone else. But where does this all this raw material for the workshop come from? Much of it flows from a single inexhaustible fountain. And that is Gate 11. Gate 11 isn't here to solve a specific problem or rationalize a past event. It is the dreamer, the visionary. It taps into the vast collective ocean of human stories, memories, and archetypes, and it pulls forth possibilities. It thinks in pictures and stories and metaphors. It is constantly asking, what if? What if we could build cities that live in harmony with nature? What if we could teach our history not as a series of wars, but as a series of connections? What if the love we feel for our family is just a glimpse of a love that holds the entire universe together? This is the energy of Gate 11. It is a ceaseless, wondrous wellspring of concepts. Now, we all have access to this energy, every single one of us, but for some, this wellspring is a dominant feature in their landscape. Their nature is to be tuned to this frequency with more consistency. But here's where it gets interesting. How we experience this energy can be vastly different. Imagine 3 sliders on a control panel for this gate. The first is intensity. How strongly do you feel the flow of ideas? Is it a gentle stream or a roaring flood that keeps you up at night? The second is frequency. How often are you tapped into it? Is it a rare flash of insight or a constant state of being? But the third slider, this is the one that we, through our conscious choices and our awareness, our nurture, have the most influence over. This is the slider of quality. What is the quality of the ideas flowing through you? At its lowest frequency, in its shadow, the energy of gate 11 is called obscurity. This isn't the absence of ideas, it's a chaotic fog of them. It's the feeling of having 1,000 tabs open in your mind, but none of them load. It's the brilliant artist who is paralyzed by a canvas that is both full of possibilities and yet utterly empty. It's the fear that if you share your idea, no one will listen, or worse, that it doesn't matter at all. In obscurity, we use our powerful imagination to construct worlds of fantasy to escape the one we're in. We get lost in daydreams of a better life, but take no steps towards it. Or we get hooked on cynical, fragmented ideas, conspiracy theories, gossip, worst-case scenarios that offer a false sense of knowing, but only lead us deeper into the dark. We are mentally cluttered, spiritually adrift, and our inner light is obscured. But what happens when we begin to raise the quality? When we choose to find a single point of light in the fog? The energy transforms. It elevates to the gift of idealism. Now, idealism gets a bad rap in our cynical world. We're taught it's naive. But true idealism is one of the most powerful forces for change on the planet. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about having the courage to envision a better one. It's the ability to hold a beautiful, harmonious idea in your mind with such clarity and love that it becomes a magnetic force, inspiring not just you, but everyone you share it with. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood before a nation and said, "I have a dream." He didn't say, "I have a 5-point plan." He shared a powerful, idealistic vision, an image of a future that stirred the soul of humanity. That is the gift of Gate 11. The great Christian thinker C.S. Lewis once wrote, quote, "It would seem that our Lord finds our desires not too strong, but too weak. We are half-hearted creatures, fooling about with drink and sex and ambition with infinite joy when infinite joy is offered us, like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea." True idealism is having the courage to stop making mud pies and lift our eyes to imagine the holiday at sea. It is the devotion to the highest, most beautiful possibility. There is a poem by a Persian mystic Hafiz, and in it the divine says, quote, "I wish I could show you, when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being." This journey from obscurity to idealism is the journey of discovering that astonishing light within. It reminds me of another poem, a simple one for this journey. The mind, a room of clutter, dust and gloom, where shadows, thoughts, and tangled corners loom. 1,000 doors that lead to nowhere fast, a haunting echo of a broken past. But you, the keeper, hold a single key, a choice to make, to stay or to be free. You light a candle, small against the night, and in its halo, one idea takes flight. It is not loud, it does not scream or shout, it simply whispers, clearing all the doubt. A thought of peace, a vision of what's true, and in the flicker the whole room is new. For light, you see, it does not fight the dark, it simply shines and leaves its radiant mark. This is the power of a single well-tended idea, but an idea held in the mind is only a potential. For to live, it must be shared, and this brings us to the Gate 11's essential partner in the dance of creation. Gate 56, the gate of the storyteller. Gate 11 is the library. Gate 56 is the librarian who takes a book off the shelf and reads it aloud with passion. Gate 11 is the concept. Gate 56 is the compelling narrative that makes the concept unforgettable. They form the channel of curiosity, the design of a seeker who gathers wisdom and shares it to stimulate others. If you have Gate 11, well, let's say defined in your chart, but not Gate 56, you might know this feeling intimately, a constant inner pressure of ideas wanting to burst forth. You might feel to blurt them out at the wrong time, or you hold them in, waiting for the right moment, the right audience, the right invitation. It's like being a film director with a masterpiece in your head, searching for the right actors and a studio to produce it. The wisdom here is patience. It is trusting that the truly valuable ideas are not yours to push into the world, but are divine seeds that, when the soil is ready, will be called forth. When these two energies connect, whether in one person or in two people, magic happens. A great teacher doesn't just list facts, she weaves them into a story. A great leader doesn't just present a strategy, he paints a picture of a shared desirable future. They are tapping into his powerful current of idea into expression. And this points us towards the highest purpose of this energy. What is the ultimate idea? What is the most beautiful story? What is the final destination of this journey from obscurity to idealism? It is the highest expression of Gate 11. It is light. This isn't just the light of a good idea. This is illumination itself. In the state, the mind is no longer cluttered with a million competing concepts. It becomes a flawless prism for a single unified truth. This is where the language of esoteric systems and eternal religion beautifully converge. In the Christian tradition, Christ is called the light of the world. He said, if therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. What is the single eye if not the mind? The Ajna focused on a single perfect idea. He didn't just have good ideas, he was the embodiment of the ultimate divine idea, love made manifest. He was the perfect expression of every gate in its highest form. The ideal of peace from Gate 11 wasn't just a concept for him. It was the very essence of his presence, a peace that passeth all understanding. Whether you call it Christ consciousness, enlightenment, or a state of perfect alignment with the divine, the principles are the same. It is a state where our personal ideas dissolve into a universal understanding, and we see that every person, every story, every challenge is part of a grand, loving, and coherent design. We begin to glimpse the mind of our heavenly parentage, to understand the great story that all our smaller stories are part of. This brings us to the Chinese I Ching name for this gate. It means peace. Why peace? Because when our minds are aligned with this higher light and the inner war of conflicting ideas ceases, the anxiety of what if gives way to a serene trust in what is and what can be through divine grace. This isn't a passive, stagnant peace. It is a dynamic, creative peace. The peace that comes from a mind that has become a clear and tranquil vessel for divine inspiration. Another poem comes to mind, a whisper of what this peace feels like. Stop the frantic search, the striving mind, the thousand paths to leave yourself behind. Be still and feel the turning of the sphere, the quiet hum that says the source is here. An idea waits not born of fret or force, but from the silence of your life's own course. A seed of peace, a truth you've always known, on fertile ground of stillness it is sown. And from the seed a tree of light will grow, whose branches shelter everything below. This is the vision, simple, grand, and free. The peace you sought was always part of thee. So how do we live in this world that seems designed to create obscurity? A world of endless digital noise and cynical headlines, a culture that often celebrates deconstruction over hopeful creation. This is why the gate is so profoundly important right now. We are starving for authentic, life-giving ideas. Cultivating a healthy relationship with Gate 11 is an act of quiet rebellion. It begins with creating space. It means turning off the noise just for a little while each day so you can hear the whispers of your own soul. Practically, well, keep an ideas journal, not for future bestseller, but for a sacred space to honor the concepts that visit you. Capture them without judgment. Give them a home. Practice discernment. Not every idea is for you to act on. You are a vessel, a custodian. Some ideas are meant for you to plant. Some are meant for you to pass on to another gardener. And some are just meant to be enjoyed for a moment, like a beautiful cloud passing overhead. Learn to feel the difference. Ask, which ideas bring a feeling of light, of expansion, of peace? That is perhaps your compass. And finally, protect your inner peace. The wellspring of Gate 11 flows most freely in a tranquil mind. What brings you peace? Is it a walk in nature, prayer, listening to transcendent music, time with those who see and celebrate your light? Well, whatever it is, guard it fiercely. It is the garden where your most beautiful ideas will bloom. Today, we've journeyed through the landscape of a single human design gate. We've seen its potential for confusion and its power for transcendent idealism. We've seen that it does not operate alone, but in a beautiful dance with expression. But one idea I hope you take home is this. The flow of ideas within you is not random. It is a sacred current, a divine, direct line to the creative heart of the universe. It is a gift waiting to be curated, cultivated, and shared. In honoring your ideas, you are honoring the divine spark within you. You are a conceptualist. You are a dreamer. You are designed to hold a vision of a more peaceful, more loving, more illuminated world. Don't be afraid to imagine that holiday at sea. Don't be afraid of the astonishing light of your own being. Let it in, let it grow, let it shine. Because the world is so very hungry for its warmth. And with that, I thank you and a good night.